Alright, hello everyone, welcome to tutorial 9, the basic of the basics. So basically for this module, everything you need to do is based on tutorial 9. So I suggest you you try to get yourself as familiar as possible to this tutorial. And let's just start it. So tutorial 9 is literally you start your own website via virtual host on CentOS via a service called Apache. And you also need to because websites you probably most gonna use database to store some of the data, so you're probably gonna use MariaDB combined on your CentOS. So let's get started. So first thing first, let's go to your CentOS virtual machine. Probably give it a IP address. If you want to do this way, feel free. I think this is very intuitive. You can just do without thinking too much. But you can also do this IP address add the address you want to the prefix of your network and the dev network interface as ENS33. So you give an IP address to your virtual machine, and in order to use Apache and MariaDB, you need to start their daemon process. So this is literally like a background process that keeps the service running. You do this by using this service HTTPD for Apache's daemon process, and you start. You can also do the same thing to MariaDB start. Do remember, if you want to encounter setting up a website on CentOS, you always start the service first. So there's some files where your configuration you can copy context from, and many other things. Okay, so if you start here, once you restart your machine, this service will go back to the inactive, and they won't start automatically. In order to make them start every time you log back to the machine, you need to use this chunk config HTTP on, or you can just use systemctl enable. This is a similar case for MariaDB, and you create a symbol link with systemctl enable. It makes you so every time you put back in the machine, you will be able to have these two services run. So in order to set up a website, there's a firewall in CentOS. As default settings, it does not allow any service or ports that pass by. So in order to make your website on this virtual machine can be visited by any other machine that is in your network, you need to punch a hole in the firewall. So firewall-cmd permanent. So this thing actually applies while you put something, and you set zoom to public, equal to public, and you add the service for HTTP and HTTPS, and after you punch the hole, reload the firewall to make them valid. So as long as you have Apache daemon on, so when your service run, you can go to localhost and you can check. You will actually have the website run via Firefox or any browser you would like to. We only have Firefox on CentOS, I think, and this will give you it works. So this is exactly the page you will find on the /war/www HTML, and yeah, so basically this tells you that you have a default rollback page on the Apache server that is running, and you can also add other things to it. So HTML, you can also create a new file called info.php, and you can just write a little PHP script here, like PHP info, and you close the script. And I didn't close Firefox, please. Yes. So if you go to try to visit info.php on this web server document root, you can actually see the script and the page you created. So now we are trying to set up a virtual host on this machine, so you can actually have a website that runs on this machine. So for all the static configuration files on a Linux device, they all list down this /etc folder, and the service we are using is Apache, so httpd, and you can find there's a bunch of things here already. Three things we need to focus on, and the first thing is this: on the conf directory, there's httpd conf file. So you use uppercase to go to the end of the file. This is the main configuration file for Apache, and at the end of this file, you try to enable the virtual host by using name virtual host for all directory port on port 80, and just like the line did before, you include optional configurations from a folder called sites enabled. That is all the sites you want it to be alive on this web server. After you configure it, you can make this, because if you check it here, you will see you don't have this sites enabled folder, so you need to actually create it. And inside, you can set up all the configurations for the website you actually want to create. So for a website, you probably want to give it a domain name. So this time, we don't have anything, right? Yeah. So this time, let's see if I want to create a networks.com, and I just .conf it as the configuration file of this website. And we set up the virtual host by using this little markup-ish tag. So with this little like a greater less than things, and because remember we can use a virtual host with port 80, so HTTP, to visit this website on the /was/www/html. So we create this entry here, so we can keep doing that. So we can still use our own website, but we can keep using localhost and with HTTP protocol to visit this website. And we create another entry for the website we actually want to go to. We need to give this website a server name. So we call this networks.com. We need to give it the root document of this website. So on the /was/www, I probably want to create a new folder for my website, so networks.com, and I put all the HTML content in it. And for server, I need to give it an alias. We'll just put it networks.com, and error log, and we put error log, and we yank everything here, and we paste it after, and we put this under our website directory, but error log file, and this is what we need to create later. And we also need to create an access log, and by having this access log, we use the syntax custom log, and we change this to access log, and we use this combine command behind, and we use virtual host to close the tag. Okay, yeah, I'm just too hyped, I guess. Okay, so now this is the website part, but the thing is, like, you also want to use database, like preferably on the most likely you're gonna use it. Now you started the MariaDB daemon before, so in order to use MariaDB or MySQL, you need to make the installation first. So in order to configure all the secure installation, uses MySQL _secure installation. So defaultly root root user does not have any password, so you just enter. But for security measures, you definitely need a root password. I'm just gonna use a password that I use, and remove any anonymous users, disable root remote login, remove any test database and access, and reload the privilege page. So now you have a MariaDB or MySQL instance that runs on your machine. But you probably also want to use something called phpMyAdmin. This is like a website GUI tool. You can configure your database with just simply click instead of using SQL command line. And Apache can actually integrate with this. You just need to config this conf.d folder. There's a phpMyAdmin configuration file. So basically this is if module, so there are two conditions, but you just make sure like under all of them you can allow override. So you just configure it as the tutorial sheet gives you. None. So options, none, allow from all. You can of course copy, as you in the test you have Milo access, but remembering all of them would not be a bad practice, and of course you definitely should do that actually. So now you already have a root user set up on your phpMyAdmin. You can actually visit it on the localhost. So phpMyAdmin. Okay, so I don't have permission to this source. I don't have permission to access this source. I think I did something wrong there, right? Conf the phpMyAdmin. Or did my thing actually works? Allows override, no options, no allow from all. Require or granted, require or granted. I'll just service reload and call it a day. So reload. No, there's error. There's actually error. Thank you. Okay, so the thing is like because I create this site enabled, but site enabled is not there yet. So for this site enabled, I'm just gonna call it site enabled backup, and I'll reload the service. Systemctl status, check if this is running. No, thank you. HTTPD, it is running. Are you working now? Yes, working now. So root, the password I'm familiar with, will enables me to the phpMyAdmin. So now let's actually make our website. Okay. So now we need to pull this sites enabled back up to actually sites enabled, so the configuration file can be used. Now we go to the website we mentioned in this sites enabled before, /was/www. You can see here we don't have nothing yet. That's okay, because we're gonna create it. And in the networks.com, remember we have three things. First thing is the HTML for the content of the website, and we need to make this error log, and we need to make this access log. So for these log files, there's a thing called SE Linux. So it manages all the security things, and in order for this log can be like correctly used by Apache or something, you need to copy the SE Linux context from like some log files that Apache is already providing, and it's on the /var/log hbd error log, and you copy this for error log, and you copy this for access log. Is the same as well. And yes, now we go to HTML, and we actually want to put some website here. So let's just index HTML. So hello, this is networks.com. Now in order for other services or users be able to use this website, we just change the permission for /var/ww to 755, and we want to change owner of this folder to student. So student as normal user, I'm root user right now, but student user from now on can actually manipulate this folder. It's on the networks.com as HTML. And let me think. I think that's probably it, except you need to configure the host file, because if you tell your computer or your browser, okay, what is networks.com, of course they will have no idea. And for them to know without having a DNS server, you need to configure this host file. And before that, you give your machine an IP address. For my case, it's 192.168.1.1, and you want to give your domain assigned to this IP address, so networks.com. And you want to reload the HTTP service. Reload. Good lord, it works. Let's hope it actually works. So if we go to networks.com, so hey, we have the content here. And for other thing we need to pay attention in tutorial 9 is CMS. So for tutorial 9 on CentOS, we are using WordPress. So you can find WordPress content under this, I think, yeah, on the this downloads file. So you can see there's the latest .gz file folder. Compressed file. So this compressed file contains all the content you need to set up a WordPress. So you can copy this latest thing to the website. You can always create another website for your WordPress content, but I'm just gonna use networks.com, and I'm gonna be there. So I think, and I'm gonna extract this compressed file using tar command. So xvf for extraction, and I wanna strip the components to only one. And now I remove the index.html I created before. Okay, I'll just dash on it. So now we have all the content we retrieved from the compressed file. So this template, WordPress template, comes with a thing called WP config sample. So as name is suggested, it's a sample configuration for the WordPress. So in order to make this actually not a sample but a live configuration, you copy this to a wp-config.php, and inside you check this. You can see this is the file you config how your WordPress website talk to the database. So you can define a database name. So for example, I want to call the database for WordPress to use. So this is WordPress website to use called WordPress. And this user, I want to call it WP. And password, I'm just going to call it true. So now from the website, we have the credential and database to look for. Now we need to use, we need to configure this inside our database. So we use MySQL-root as root user with password. It's a strong and complicated password I created before, and I can't even remember that. That's very strong, I would say. So I create the database. I will need database. If I can spell, thank you, God. Okay. What did I call it? WordPress? Yes, WordPress. And I want to create this user. I identify there. Oh, create user. This WP user identified by the password I want to use, which is 2, like I thought before. Now I need to grant all the access on this WordPress database, all tables inside it, grant all on this database, all the tables to, if my keyboard works, thank you, WP on this machine, so localhost, this machine itself, identified by this user with password 4. Now we flush the privilege. My English is so bad, bro. Not even kidding. So we flush the privilege of privilege, because of course I spelled it wrong. Yes. So now I quit. I set up the database. You can also inspect this with phpMyAdmin. You will see there's a WordPress here, and after you configure the WordPress site, you can go to your networks.com, and you will be greeted with this like initial setup website of WordPress. You can set up your WordPress username and account and password, email, like SEO stuff, and site name, whatever. But that is basically the main point for tutorial 9. And in terms of like the practical exam, so you need to know service start and chunk config. You need to know the 3 line for firewall. You need to know how to do hosts. So for Windows, if I'm just gonna have Windows 2016 here. Control Alt. Okay, I'm pressing the wrong button. Stupid me, brother. So for Linux, it's just like what we did before. Vim /etc/host. Gonna be a host file. And if you have Windows, first thing, definitely you want to put your device into the same subnet with your web server, right? So 168.1.2 for this one, and we give the subnet mask. And for Windows, we configure the host file as C, Windows system32 drivers at C host file. So for this host file, you can add the entry for this domain name. So what's the domain name called? Networks.com. Sorry, I'm so stupid. So I save, and I can try to visit the WordPress sites I just created here on Windows with the same subnet. And sites enabled is the 3 configuration I mentioned, and the content of the web page I mentioned, and use MySQL_scale_installation to make a secure installation, and you use you can type some PHP stuff. So that is tutorial 9.